Okay, guys, here's the next part that we need to talk about. After talking about this, determining what your source of your light is, we want to talk about the light direction. Where's your light coming from? From what direction? And that's usually always going to be based on where your camera determines where your light is coming from. So where you position your camera will determine the direction of your light. Um, as you can see here, this is what we call side light. And these are some of the examples of where your direction of your lights and how it reveals things. The direction of light is important because of the shadows they leave. These are visible from the point of view of the camera, as I said. Look for the shadows is the way you can tell where your light is coming from. Whichever way direction of the shadow is cast away from your subject is usually the opposite side is where your light is coming from. The darkest side faces away from the light. The brightest side faces the light source. There are 5 types of light that we look for in places that we place them. And you can use these in any combination you want to create and reveal your subject. There's a front light, what we call a main light, usually is what we use it for. Above light, which we call a God light because it comes down on you. A side light, a backlight, which is a silhouette, and a below light. And a lot of the times you see this type of light in the old scary movies where they would light a subject from the bottom. And let's cover these real quick. The axis or front lighting comes at the front of the scene from the direction of the camera. These are nice lighting and that we use most of the time. But you want to be careful about using this light in directly in front of your subject and not off to the axis or to the sides, because they can make your subject seem flat. It doesn't allow your subject to seem three-dimensional. This is why shadows are important. Above lighting, sometimes referred to as God light, comes from above your subject. These are really nice lights that you want to pay close attention to. They radiate a lot of times. So it gives you that feeling. If you've seen some of the old movies, when they would do a story of the Bible, you'd see the light casting through the window from above. Gives you that almighty experience, I would almost cast it as. Now, the ghoul lighting, which is the totally opposite, is the light that's cast from underneath that makes your subject look, and the shadows are cast above where the light is. So it kind of gives you that menacing look. Now, backlighting creates the silhouettes. These are the lights that tend to be somewhat of symbols a lot of times. And we kind of use them as like to kind of show the shape of our subjects. These are great to not be detailed what your subject looks like, but just to hint at and give you a symbol or subject. It's kind of like a drawing of your subject, and it can be real symbolic if you're using silhouettes. Now, the side lighting kind of shows and gives a little bit more contours. It's the light that gives us our depth. It gives us a sense that our subject is three-dimensional. It comes across the side of the scene from the left or the right of the camera. The surface texture is revealed. This is a light that gives snake skins or leather or things that have texture or depth to it. Gives it its feeling of texture. It makes objects look three-dimensional and uses it to add drama. Now, side lighting is one of the lightings that you'll find in a lot of dramatic movies, because it's the kind of lighting that you look at when you're trying to create drama, or you're trying to show a person in a certain light, or kind of accent. In cinema, this is one of the things that you see most of the time. It's just kind of the one light source, and your light is going across and as in one direction of your subject. Again, here's examples of side lighting. The light moves from left to right from the camera. The shadow moves across. This is one of the better ways of lighting your subject, as opposed to putting a light in front of your subject, because it doesn't allow or force your subject to squint. So those are the things you want to be looking for. Effective uses of side lights are examples here. And you can see there's a combination of lights coming for it. It can be very dramatic in using the side lights. Now, after we've covered all these are the directions and the places that you can place a light, let's talk next about the quality of light.